In the last episode of Data Archaeology, we looked at this 1 gigabyte Fujitsu drive from 1991 or 1992. And for this video, I say let's look at this one. This, I believe, is a Seagate drive. Oh, yep, it is a Seagate drive. It claims to be bootable from DOS 6.22. We'll see how that goes. And I believe it's 300 megabytes. So that puts it around like 1986 or 1987 or so. Let's begin testing. I actually used the previous hard drive to hold this one up higher so the power connector isn't so tight. These aren't very long on here. Now just an overview on the hard drive itself. We have the main hard drive mechanical bits hidden inside this aluminium case, which contains the motor and read-write head. Then underneath here we have a circuit board. Actually, it looks like two circuit boards, shielded by this bottom base plate, which is actually very nice because a lot of these hard drives like this, they just have their circuit board open to the outside, and most of these are missing components because they get knocked off, especially the high capacitors. Like I've already been working on replacing a few. So this is really nice. That this means that it can sit down, especially where I get them from, where they're just sitting on a shelf and they're just stacked up. So all these are like they're just crunching the components in. But this is nice and strong. On the back, it seems like we have a few power controlling, probably MOSFETs, that are, I believe they are screwed into this aluminium case. So it acts as a heatsink along with shielding the platters. It runs off regular SCSI and a Molex connector. Well, unfortunately, this is even still too far. So let's move this up here. And we can connect it up here. Ah, perfect. Monitor on and computer on. The hard drive's not turning on though. Control A to go into the BIOS. There we go. Oh. SCSI disk utility. I'm not quite sure which one is this one. Let's try this one. Verified disk media. Ah, that's unfortunate. Defective sector. More of them. I said I'd just cancel this and see if we can get any salvageable data off of the hard drive. So here we are on Ubuntu. Let's look up the disk manager, because that drive is not coming up on the side here, so that's unfortunate. It's pretty slow, but that's a live CD, so whatever. Okay. Contents unknown. Size 328 megabytes. Create disk image. Okay, so I've already made a disk image of this previously when I first got it, so I won't have to do that again. it's kind of unfortunate that it's not displaying. So that's pretty hard to capture on the camera, but it's, I believe, sequential read and write is both 1.4 megabits per second, or megabytes per second, not really sure. That's not too bad for a hard drive this old. So it looks like there's really not much information on this hard drive. The bad sectors are kind of mapped to like right in the middle and really good on the outside. So I'm thinking what happened is there's probably 4 platters. These 2 platters are good, and these 2 platters are horribly messed up, like they're not magnetic or something like that anymore. And so it's only half good. Now I could probably save it by making 4 partitions, not using the 2 middle partitions, and only using the 2 end ones, which would both be like 75 megabytes, which would be great for an old DOS machine. Now, also, I do have a byte for byte disk image of this hard drive already saved, so that's not too bad. I can always go rummaging through that to see if maybe I did overlook something. So it's not like I'm just formatting it and not having any way to go back. I'm thinking let's go into Windows, format it, and do a few more tests and just tinker around with it. And see if maybe the issues with it is software or actually a hardware issue with the middle 2 platters. We're in Windows XP, go to my computer, right click, manage, as we usually do. We'll initialize the disk. It's at 49% and it's really slowing down now. I wonder if when it's formatting, if it's trying to take care of the bad sectors. That'd be nice. Or at least rerouting around them. The format did not complete successfully. It took almost 2 hours to format this drive. Yeah, let's see if it comes up in my computer. Yeah, it does. Huh. Let's do an error check. Disk check complete. Now I say let's copy over a few files. Just some JPEG images. Well, that was quick. That's weird. I didn't think it would be that quick, but I don't know. Now let's go disk defragmenter and see what's going on. I'm going to copy and paste these items a few more times just to add a bunch of random files. I would have expected it to take a lot longer than this. But this drive is actually pretty quick. Then again, these are pretty small files. Let's go to disk defragmenter. Huh, maybe it was just a hardware issue. So now I say we close out all these windows. And we try Crystal Disk again and do a benchmark. It is now the next day, and I discovered an issue with what I recorded when I was editing. The clip that was going to be right here was of me testing the hard drive with Crystal Disk, and for some reason it was like, it's getting extremely fast speeds. That's kind of cool. It's almost like a hard drive from 20 years past when that thing was made. Well, the reason it was actually like a hard drive made 20 years past when that thing was actually made was because I was testing the wrong drive. So, now let's test the actual drive. I can take this footage, pop it in there, and no one will ever know, except for I told you. But oh well. It'll be like I didn't tell anyone. It'll still have a nice flow through it, so you can still get all the information. But anyway, let's test the drive with Crystal Disk now. This one probably won't be nearly as fast as before whenever I tested the wrong hard drive. But we'll get some nice clicking sounds. Okay, that is much closer to what I would have expected. Before I got 30 megabytes per second. 30 megabytes per second is what? It'd fill the entire hard drive in 10 seconds? Okay, so that is much more reasonable than what I got before. So sequential read is 1 megabyte per second. Sequential write is 800 kilobytes per second. Now the difference between sequential and I believe random is that sequential is it just basically saves one long thing, whereas random it bounces all over the drive. We can definitely see a big decrease in I believe the second row is random. You can definitely see a lower increase because it's adding time of having to jump back and forth between sectors and stuff like that in the drive. But either way, this is great for a DOS machine. Oh, and by the way, the images are still on the drive, so that's good. But back to what I recorded before. Looks like I now have a hard drive that'd be good for an old like DOS machine. It definitely has the front plate to go well on a 1980s computer. So I'd say that's pretty much it. It is kind of unfortunate that it didn't have any useful information on it that I could detect. I've actually spent like a week or so messing around with it before this, and I couldn't get anything off of it. But the hard drive itself, well, at first, going through the SCSI controller's BIOS and doing a test on it, it looks like it has really bad sectors in it. But then going through Windows and Ubuntu, it seems like it has less bad issues. So it may actually be pretty useful. So yeah. That's pretty much it for this old Seagate drive. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching. See ya!